Hello, folks. We are live. This is Impact Money, where we talk money in the morning, the best in finance, stocks, and precious metals, your sound money. We are coming to you live on the Smart Money Culture.tv network, hosted in Texas and Louisiana. It's great to be on here. We saw Fly Mackey give a great presentation last night, talking great numbers and an opportunity for everybody that wants to get involved. We're going to be distributing the funds of the money that comes into the network. Pretty exciting opportunity. And as usually, we have our great host, Bruce Porter Jr., and Matthew Dixon will be coming on with the crypto market, the best an AI has to offer. And we will take a look at that soon. We are live with Bruce Porter Jr.
Hey, how are you, David?
Yes.
Good to see you this morning. It is as things go, happy morning. I was just going back and forth a little bit. I know Matt has some good stuff for us as well. A lot happening in the world, of course. You have these bombs continuing to fly all around the world. Crypto is doing well. It's holding up pretty well as far as it goes. You have the stocks kind of edging lower. You have oil really kind of under pressure. From what I understand, Texas is producing more oil, and that's making those guys over there mad. They're upset that they're cutting supply, and still the price of oil is going down. But we have a lot of oil. That's one thing that people, I think, and this is just me, okay, but I think it's one of the lies that they told us our whole lives is that there was a limited supply of oil. I think there's like a lot of oil. I think there's a lot. I think I think the earth produces oil. I don't think it's all just old dinosaurs and stuff.
It's a fossil fuel. It's fossilized. But no,
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It just seems like there's a lot of oil, and it seems like a natural thing. I always wonder about this.
Scarcity is a fundamental tactic of business, right? So you make something seem like it's very rare, and you're able to sell it for a higher price. And
like diamonds, right? There's a lot of diamonds out there. Actually, there's a lot more, but they hold those supplies. They hold those supplies of the diamonds very low. That way they can keep those prices up. Of course, beautiful diamonds. We all have to buy one day, or most of us anyway, sooner or later. Sometimes you buy 3 or 4. You never know.
Yes, definitely multiple for one reason at least.
Yeah, definitely for one reason at least. So pretty interesting stuff that we have going on. Of course, I am gosh, I'll tell you what, this Annie play is really something else. So we did 9 hours on Saturday, and then we did I don't know, we did 12 hours or something yesterday. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Joke, huh? Do you know your lines?
Starting to get my lines. I'm the Secretary of State in
That's pretty cool role.
I know. Cordell Hull. I'm worried about Hitler.
Oh man,
guys, listen. Unemployment is not our biggest issue here, okay? May not be our biggest issue, Mr. President. They told me this is one of my problems. I paraphrase my lines. Mr. President, unemployment may not be our biggest issue. The dispatches coming from Germany are more and more disturbing. There could be a war.
Scary stuff.
And of course, very historic moment in time that this Annie play is based on. Of course, we just had the stock market crash. We've had Hoover. They all hated Hoover. Everyone hated. Well, you know what I mean. It's like everybody. Doesn't matter. Roosevelt too. They all ended up hating Roosevelt. They all hated because why? Because they all sold us out. I mean, that's the long and short of it. They all sold us out to the central bank. Pretty interesting though. People are still kind of clueless, but we had the bank crash and everything. Then they took everyone's gold.
Yeah.
And then they depegged. Of course, they took us off the gold standard.
Some people's
And
gold would be worth so much more if their grandfathers were able to hold it.
if our forefathers, if our families were able to hold the gold, and of course certain families were able to hold the gold, it's like anything, right? Some families got to keep it. Normal people, they had to
Yeah,
give it up. So then, right around there, then they still backed the U.S. dollar by the currency, but it wasn't they didn't have the 1-to-1 or whatever it was after
yeah,
that. You couldn't trade it in. It's still actually they were still printing like 10-to-1. Nobody talks about it even while we had the gold standard, but then they kind of officially said, okay, it's not going to be pegged 1-to-1 in 1933, I think. And then in 1971, of course, Nixon said, "No, it can't even go to the bank and trade it in for gold anymore. That's it."
that's
Of
it.
course, you couldn't. It was the gold standard started in 1900, so that's a big thing too. So pretty interesting stuff. Some of my the girls are doing really well in the play. Bella is really doing well with her. My 13, almost 14-year-old. She's such a beautiful little girl, and my 9-year-old, my 6-year-old. Yeah, it goes by quick. My 9-year-old. Penelope's doing great too, and they got the dance moves. And of course, Penelope's on a dance team, and Bella's doing another play. Bella, she was gone for half of it. The biggest reason why it's so much time for the adults is that we have 2 casts for the kids because there's like some ridiculous amount of shows, a lot of shows. Anyway, really fun thing, as a father. Going into my years, I mean, how long will the kids be around? I mean, maybe they'll be around longer. I don't know, but it's pretty nice to have something that I'm doing with them that is pretty cool, big production. And anyway, if you're around the Old Town area, you should come and see it. Old Town,
Yeah.
Virginia, that is. So I know we're in Texas. We're in Texas on TV in Texas. We have a lot of viewers in Texas and Louisiana, but Texas is the 4th largest economy in the world. And there's a lot of disposable income out there. And we're really, one of the reasons why Fly Mackey and Smart Money Culture TV bought this time there in Texas because he wanted to reach you guys. And there's a lot of disposable income there. And we're going to grow this network, and we're going to grow of course, our companies. We're going to grow this network, and we got it to talk to you guys. So if you want to get involved, make sure you go over to the website, and that's thesmc.tv, and get involved. And he always says, "Well, write a check. That's his favorite thing." Well, write a check. But we're growing a lot. The plan is to be in front of 50 million people by the end of the year. So that's big growth. We're going to grow along with them. Of course, we have our global boost, and we have our at cost metals that we work on quite a bit. At cost metals, that's with the monetary revolution. And that's why we have the show here is really talking about these types of things. We have a moment in the world where there's war everywhere. We have everybody's kind of fighting everybody. This was actually foretold. A guy named Albert Pike. He was back in 1871. 1871, Albert Pike predicted the 3 world wars, and this is the 3rd World War that he predicted. If he was right about the other 2. And so this one is supposed to the people there in the Middle East, the state of Israel and the Islamic world are supposed to mutually annihilate each other. I
Yeah,
don't like
it's
to see
rough.
any of that stuff, but if that holds true, we're in for a heck of a war over there, and it is heating up.
That is part of the business plan. You do want to aim for a long term, 100-year business plan, 200-year business plan, and obviously these guys were thinking even longer than that, and so they put their plans in action, and you see it coming out.
Well,
I
that's
want to say,
exactly right.
go ahead.
That's a good point. I mean, Albert Pike was by a lot of different readings. He was a Freemason, and the Freemasons have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. So whether it was a prediction or whether it was planned 150 years ago is up for debate, I suppose. But pretty interesting stuff that we have there. That's for sure. We have, of course, yeah, just a lot going on. And then of course we have the flooding over in California. We also have. I want you to take a look at this, man. I'll just do Chile. I have to bring this up because it looks to me like okay, after Maui, after what happened in Maui. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Maui, but I never saw anything like that before. And I've been to Maui a number of times. I love Hawaii. Hawaii is just absolutely beautiful, but Maui specifically is unbelievable. I mean, we're talking like double rainbows like every day. I mean, this is like a magical place. And I just I never saw anything like it before. And all those cars along the roads just like charred to nothingness, right? And
Hmm.
people in the water trying to save themselves, and then you had charred bodies in the houses and the streets. And I mean, so what got talked about a lot was this direct energy weapon, the DEW, which is a direct
Hmm.
direct energy weapon, right? Coming Goes from space. It's basically a big laser or whatever. And it's you have to imagine, of course, it exists or something like it exists. And it looks like that's what was used. And so anyway, what is happening over in Chile, I thought was similar. And this is a video I put out, but I wanted to just show some of the fires as well. And then I'll show that video that I put out. But just really I mean, look at this stuff. Like this is like I mean this I mean, of course that they know about. I mean, look at this destruction here. This is like crazy. This is nuts. This is crazy. And of course, there's always been fires. I get it, guys. I get it. And sure, I'm a conspiracy theorist. But look at this. Now, Chile came out with Mexico recently against Israel's war in Gaza. Or And then, of course, we have this. But look at this video. I mean, this is really something else. I'm going to try to skip over one part because there's a part with a guy on the ground, and I don't know if I'm supposed to show it on TV or not. But look at this.
Wow.
It's utter destruction. And the thing is, it's like they always say, like, what is there to burn so much of? Like, that's kind of like where you start to really wonder, like, what is there to burn? There we go. Let's skip over the guy. Poor guy. There was a charred body there. Um, and so this video came out from a local. It didn't like me skipping ahead there. Let's see if I can reload it here. There we go. So I don't know. Question everything. That's what I say. I mean, we have these massive forest fires now. Of course, we have flooding as well. Make sure you guys follow me on Networks Man. I'm Networks Manager on X. I'm also David is Sir David Porter. Matt Dixon. Matt Dixon is look at this. California's flooding. Matt Dixon is MD Trade. That's Doctor Trade. No, I'm just kidding. MD. Matt Dixon, MD Trade. At MD Trade. Make sure to follow him. Let's bring on Matt. Let's talk money. He's got a lot of stuff to talk about. Sir Matt, the great.
David, morning, Bruce.
How are you?
I love David's wise words. What was he saying about scarcity being the one of the ingredients for successful business? Absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's, I mean, obviously that's why Bitcoin has got such an amazing future, because it's got limited supply, scarcity. But on the theme of scarcity, I was just looking today at something called gold hydrogen. Have you heard of that, Bruce or David?
I haven't. It sounds sexy though.
White hydrogen or gold hydrogen. So I was looking into energy resources, because obviously we all know Texas is the biggest oil producing state in the US. They produce 3 times more than the second producing state in the US. I think they produced 1.8 billion barrels last year, which is a phenomenal amount. But obviously, one of the big concerns at the moment is carbon, the greenhouse effect and all that kind of stuff. Whether or not it's true, who knows? But it's the latest flavor on everyone's mind is the greenhouse effect and all this carbon. So looking at hydrogen at the moment is actually a very ineffective way to produce energy. Burning hydrogen itself is really clean because all you get, the only byproduct is water, H2O. You burn hydrogen in oxygen, you get H2O water, that's the byproduct. So it's very, very, very clean. But the problem is at the moment, they've been producing hydrogen by burning or by using other types of fuel, even if it's green fuel to produce hydrogen. They're using energy to produce hydrogen, whether it's electrolysis or synthesis from natural gas or whatever. So there's all different grades of hydrogen, but it's very expensive. So at the moment, it's 5 times more expensive to produce hydrogen than gasoline. So that's why hydrogen hasn't really taken off just yet. But interestingly, they've just found something they call white hydrogen or gold hydrogen, and it's naturally occurring hydrogen in the earth. And they found massive quantities. And this is 20%, is 1/5 of the cost of gasoline, because there's no processing. It's there just as pure hydrogen in the earth.
Wow.
And hydrogen is the most abundant gas in the whole universe. It's not the most abundant in the earth, but it's still very, very abundant. There's massive quantities. And they found it in all sorts of places now, all around the earth. They found a massive quantity in France. And they're looking everywhere now. Switzerland, America have found it. America have got a big quantity as well. So this could be quite amazing because it's such a clean gas. Again, you talk about scarcity. I mean, the other thing is oil was going to run out at some point, but technology has advanced so much that they can now extract oil so much more efficiently. They used to just leave these oil fields, drain the oil off and leave them. But now they actually realize there's so much oil left behind that they've developed techniques to extract the remaining oil. And that's why there's so much more oil available. And then you've got fracking, and there's so many different ways now. And now we've got hydrogen, this white hydrogen. So, I don't think that there's going to be any major issues for the time being over energy, because the technology is advancing so fast that we'll deal with the energy issues, I believe.
Yep.
But I just thought that was interesting because not many people have heard about it.
I haven't heard about it, white hydrogen. And to your point though, as well, like that's people always get scared. Oh my gosh, we gotta stop doing this, we gotta stop doing that, kind of and actually a lot of times as we move forward and we develop the new technologies, we're able to handle these types of things. And so it might be a good example of that. But the white hydrogen, it's great.
It is a good example because we always fret and worry over things, and we forget that technology moves so fast. So computing power moves so fast. AI is moving so fast. This energy production is moving so fast. We wouldn't have known ages ago. And then don't forget, at some point in the future, you'd expect we'll have nuclear fusion. At the moment, we have nuclear fission, which has all the nuclear byproducts, which we don't want, even though it is actually relatively safe compared with normal fuel production, energy production. But even so, there's big worries about it with Fukushima and what happened there and so on. But once we get nuclear fusion, that is absolutely clean. And again, it's basically just fusing hydrogen nuclei together to produce even more energy than the current nuclear fission. So that's the next big one. When that happens, some say 5 years, some say 50 years. They can produce it already, but they just can't control it at the moment. So, it's the same energy that produces the heat from the sun, and that's what we're looking to develop here on Earth.
Yep.
So again, technology is just absolutely phenomenal. So we need to embrace it, which is what we're all about on this show. Embracing technology, with blockchain and everything. It's amazing. So, talking of blockchain, let's get into cryptos and just see what's been happening. So, it's interesting to hear what you're saying about Albert Pike.
Right.
I'd not heard about him before, but it sounded interesting that he predicted 3 world wars, and the third one you say to be focused on the Middle East, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And of course, the state of Israel wasn't even around at that point, 1871. That was even before the Balfour Declaration and everything, and he predicted the state and the whole bit. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, Balfour Declaration was 1917, wasn't it? And then was it 1917?
Like yep.
In the State of Israel, 1948.
Yeah.
Then they've had those wars, haven't they? The 67 War. Was it 1973? Was it Yom Kippur War? Mm-hmm. And then what's going on at the moment? So I'm just hoping that you're able to see my screen now.
We are. Look at this lovely chart.
Well, I'll show this one to start with. I'm going to go on to wave basis in a minute, but this is a lovely chart. This is Bitcoin, and it shows pretty well. You can't quite see from the bottom. In fact, what I'll do, I'll bring it into focus so you can see where we started this count. So I'll have to move it a little bit more even. Just so we can see where we started. This was the FTX crisis, and that good news came out last week that all the FTX creditors will be paid in full. And that's because Bitcoin has risen so much, and there are large Bitcoin holdings and other assets that have rallied with Grayscale and everything. And they were a discount, and now they're at par. So loads more money available. All the creditors paid off. That's fantastic. So this Bitcoin low, which was a big catastrophe in the market with FTX, we climbed from there, climbed this wall of worry all the way up, and then we had the ETF here, approval at this peak here. Then we had a bit of a sell-off back down, and now we're pushing back up again by the look of it. So what was interesting, as you know, I love my Fibonacci measurements.
Yes.
And what I did, first of all, I just measured from, let's just get that correct, so you can see it properly. Yeah. So I measured from the very bottom of the market here, that FTX crisis, to the top of this wave here. You can very clearly see the spike there of the market there. So I measured that as the 100% measurement. Then all I do is move that same measurement over to this wave 2 position down here, the bottom of this wave. And it gave me basically a target, quite a nice target for wave 3 is normally at least 1.618. That's what I count as a minimum target. Now we fell short of that before.
And what is that target? It's hard for me to see. 40, 43, 49 rather?
The target is 49,909.
Yep.
Just
nice target.
Got a bit of a sore throat. So that 49,000. We didn't quite reach there with the ETF approval. We had to spike up, and then it came back down again. And now we look as though we're beginning that climb towards at least that level. Now that would be potentially wave 3. But what's really interesting is we get a double confirmation. So what I did then is measure within wave 3 itself is made up of 5 waves. So all I do is measure from the bottom of wave 2 to the top of the internal wave 1, the wave 1 of wave 3. You can see inside we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the making. So I'll measure that wave 1. All I do then is transpose that to the start of wave 2. And it actually gives me, when I measure it properly, it actually gives me exactly the same level at 1.618 for the top of this wave. So it's, I'd have to measure that absolutely properly, but yeah, that's about right. Yeah, it gives me the top anyway of here. So they coincide. So it's a really good, really good potential for the end of the next wave. So we're currently at 43,000, target 49,000. Off the top of my head, I guess that's probably 17% potential gain there, just to get to a relatively safe point, just above the previous high. So it could shoot way beyond there. It might not even reach there, but the likelihood is that's our target for Bitcoin. So I think that's looking really, really good at the moment because all the news is pretty positive, apart from all the geopolitical worries. But the news within crypto is positive. Obviously, we've got halving just around the corner. No particularly bad news anywhere. So I will just look at wave basis and show you a couple of things that they have to show us. So I did tell you that the pound is pretty well correlated with Bitcoin and crypto.
Yep.
So from wave basis, we have a wave 1 up, 2 down. You can see the black line here, 3 up, working on wave 4 at the moment. And then we should have wave 5 up. So we're very soon to get a push higher in the pound, according to this, which should correlate with crypto and Bitcoin and give us a really nice push to the upside. And that should help us at least achieve that 49,900, I believe. Here's Bitcoin itself. And again, these are automated counts. It's using really smart software to use, it factors in all of the Elliott wave rules. It factors in Fibonacci projections. It's not perfect, nothing's perfect, but it's a really good guide. And it saves an awful lot of work as well. So here, basically you can see in the orange, that's the big count. We're number 1, number 2 down there, number 3. And interestingly as well, you can even see the projections. We actually look at the projections where the next wave is likely to go. So for example, if we hover over 3 here, it tells you where wave 4 is likely to go. And lo and behold, you can see the wave 4 precisely within the orange box projection. And we can even project where wave 5 would likely go if we shrink the chart a little bit. So that's telling us after wave 4, we'd expect wave 5 higher to take us. I mean, by the look of it, to be honest here, looking like above 49.9. But my target on my own charts is around 49.9 as a minimum, but we could go beyond there. But this is telling us that my wave count is probably correct, and we should expect a push higher. And interestingly, even within the little wave count here, wave 3 was telling us that we'll pull back in wave 4 to the grey box. Mm-hmm. That's precisely where we pulled back to on the price. And now we're beginning to push back up again. So this is really predictive. It's really powerful stuff. So hopefully there, Bitcoin is headed toward the upside. Here's that old dollar index. Again, we got a massive push higher on the last candle here. And that was largely in part, I mean, I think there's some of it was maybe due to geopolitical issues. Money flows to dollar when there's worries in the world. But we're pushing really strongly. Just remember, we had really powerful, strong non-farm payroll figures out of the US on Friday, and that gave the dollar a major boost. So that's what's really probably largely what's behind these green candles here, because in as well as that, we're also seeing the stock market's pumping. So it's not a flight to quality. This is actually just a pump in the markets. So we're getting a strong dollar because of non-farm payrolls. People are quite happy because the economy is healthy. So in general, things are looking quite good at the moment. So, that's dollar index. The dollar is looking pretty strong. But we've got, again, you can see here, if I hover over the A wave down here, the next wave is expected to be a B wave higher, and it's expected to terminate somewhere in the orange box that you can now see, and that's roughly the territory we're in. So I would expect that we'll probably see a turnaround fairly soon in the dollar to the downside. Yep. We've got I think we've got ISM manufacturing out later today. I think sometime next week, or is it the end of the week? We've got inflation figures out of the US, haven't we? CPI. So let's see what that comes out as. If CPI softens a bit, then we will see a turn down in dollar, as will be expected from this orange box. It should turn down there. SPY, so this is the S&P 500. You can see it rallying nicely there, can't you?
Yep. Look at that.
I'm having to take regular drinks here because my throat is.
I know, poor guy, man. I can hear it. Yeah. Actually, it's not very obvious, but I obviously we're on every day, so for me.
So just look at this though. When I hover over wave 4, see the green box? That's the target. The next wave higher. This is telling us, if it is correct, that we are due for a massive rally in the S&P 500. So stock markets are set to continue to rally, which would be in line with the Bitcoin rally and crypto rally and everything else rally, and probably a dollar index fall. Probably all coincide nicely together.
Yep.
So that's a long way higher. Look at that target of 650.
All-time highs. All-time highs.
I mean, we're already all-time high.
I know.
So just imagine a long way to go there, percentage-wise. what, 30% more maybe. So we could be in for a mega rally. That's if this is correct. But yeah, there's no reason to suspect it wouldn't be correct at the moment. We'll just touch very briefly on the XRP. XRP has actually got a really nice A, B, and again, just hover over the B and it gives you the target for C. We're currently at 50 cents on XRP. You can see here the grey box target is 82 to 90 cents. Yeah. So that's the target for the C wave higher. That's not saying it's necessarily the end of the move higher. It's just saying this particular wave, the next wave, the C wave, which will be at primary degree, should take us to that sort of level, 82 to 90 area on XRP. So you're talking, big percentage there. You're talking 60% maybe higher or more. So
big move. It's at 50 cents or something right now.
Yeah, that's correct. And then looking at Solana, again, massive potential for upside here. I'd probably have to shrink the chart to even see, to fit on where the target is. Yeah, I did have to shrink it. I mean, that's phenomenal. If that's true, if it's true, $350 to $425. So it's just saying that we're just beginning, that the fifth wave is expected to be the extended wave by the look of it. So this is at primary degree again. So that would be a massive potential rally. And as we always say, if the market's rising, Solana rises more. So real potential there. So I won't continue because my voice is killing me.
Oh, poor guy. All-time high, I wanted to just say, it's 259 on Solana. So
so this is looking at definitely new all-time high we're looking at if this is correct. So I wouldn't bet against it because I remember it's only very, very recently that Solana was $8. And we recently got to $124 or something.
Yes.
$126 from $8. So when was that $8 level? It wasn't long ago at all. That was September, wasn't it?
It wasn't long ago. It's one of those funny ones. I have multiple stories on that one. And another story, one of my guys was trading for me. It had this big move up, and he kept putting in a short. And it could move up some more, and he'd make the short bigger. It'd move up some more, he'd make the short bigger. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good move on this one. And
that's called a martingale strategy, a grid strategy, and it's a great strategy when the market's going with you, and usually it works really well. But when it goes against you, it absolutely demolishes your account.
It demolishes you. We end up
overall, it's a shocking strategy, absolutely shocking. But it looks good for a time because 90% of the time you'll win on your trades. It just adds to your position every time the market goes against you, and looks great because you keep winning and winning and winning. But when you do get hit, it absolutely wipes you out. So it's a very poor strategy.
It's a poor strategy, Matt says. Oh, you're right. It was a poor strategy.
Yeah. So exciting times, I think, ahead for the time being. Let's just hope this guy, Albert Pike, let's hope his predictions don't come true just yet. I don't know whether did he put a date on it or not.
No, you know how these predictions are. No, it wasn't there's not a date on it.
Well, it's not much of a prediction if there's no date on it.
Well, I mean, actually, I didn't read the whole thing. I cruised it, and there's a lot of other stuff about it. I did find the original writing, though. It was in the archives, in the U.S. archives, because I was like, "Is this true?" You know what I mean? You hear this stuff all the time, and they had his original letter and everything else. So I'll look again and see if there's some more dates.
Yeah, well, I'll make a prediction. Bitcoin will go to 57,420. I won't tell you what date, but it's going
to Yep. Well, that's it. You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah. So, great times ahead.
Yes.
So, what else are we talking about today, Bruce?
Oh, lots of stuff, going on. But if you'd like to, rest your voice, that's fine. We have, the political stuff going on is just absolutely crazy here around the world. I guess you get the farmers, and they were now getting shot by rubber bullets and water cannons there in Brussels. Seems to be just protest, this farmer protest all over Europe, and then as
So
well we have same type of thing. The farmers protesting down at the border here in the U.S. You have Texas now. They're saying, "Hey, we're going after this by air, land, and sea." Um, Texas is the fourth largest economy in the world, and so people, you have California, you have Texas, and I mean these two states could literally secede, um, leave the union, and probably pull it off. I mean, California might be a disaster, but Texas could.
yeah, California is in
Texas
a
could
state
pull it
of
off.
bankruptcy, but Texas is able to support itself and have a whole ecosystem there. But California is at a state of bankruptcy.
They still, yes, they are, but they have like one of the large. It's like a really really strong economy. It's just it's like what you talk about, Matt, quite a bit. It's this migration is very strong for economies, and the influx of migration there. Now, of course, if it also can be a massive weight, which I think is why it's bankrupt in California, but it's still the engine churns. But Texas is all kinds of oil. Um, they have
Yeah,
they've had seceding from the union on the table pretty much continuously for a couple hundred years.
yeah, yeah. Their oil production does pull it off for them. And there was some protesting, the farmers protesting here in Ireland. The sentiment wasn't so impressive. They said it lacked a bit of class, and the guys speaking on stage were swearing a lot and being quite flagrant. But they're out here protesting as well.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty interesting. I think that the farmer protest, but they're still passing everything, and that's what I talked to my buddy in. I don't know where he was. I forget now. Somewhere out there in Germany, though. Yeah, the farmers protesting this and that. I said, yeah, but is anything gonna happen? And he says, yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. I just don't know, kind of where it ends. And I see, I don't know what you're hearing, Matt, but I mean, from what we're seeing and some reports, there's no food in some of the grocery stores there. Is that in line with some of the stuff you're hearing?
I've not heard about that.
Okay.
Excuse me. Dear me, let me have another drink.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I mean, basically, there's just like we have here. We have they just uncovered the state of Washington moved like $530 million to house asylum seekers or migrants or whatever you want to call them, people that have crossed illegally, and that money was apparently supposed to be for COVID, and then in New York, we're giving out Visa cards, we're giving out prepaid debit cards to everybody that comes illegally, and giving them housing and all this other stuff, and then you have the normal citizens who are like struggling, and now they're community centers where they take their kids to do different sports and stuff like that. They can't even use them. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know where it ends. It doesn't appear like it ends anywhere good. I know we had, obviously we've had different influxes of migration. The Irish actually was a big. They came over in large quantities, as well as people from around the world. But it was a bit different. We didn't have this welfare state that we have now. I mean, Europe as well. This welfare state that people come in and they expect to be taken care of. They expect to have a roof over their head. They expect to have food.
Mm. It's amazing, you're probably hearing things about Europe and the farmers and empty shelves and so on. I mean, I was just Googling because I've not experienced it because I'm in Dubai most of the time now. But it's talking about empty shelves in America, and it's talking about a perfect storm, with labor shortages, climate change. We've got this problem in the Red Sea where I think about 20% of the world's sea freight goes through the Red Sea, and I think there's probably an awful lot of food transported through there. So there's all sorts of reasons why I guess there are shortages everywhere. And then we've had Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, Ukraine is what the wheat. I mean, that's where a lot of the world's wheat comes from there in Ukraine. And we've had these, they're almost like normal. We'll have burning, they'll have like a fire of some, meat processing plant or something. And they become pretty regular. It's just interesting. Like, like they're like, seems like they must be on purpose. You know what I mean? You have like a big chicken processing plant burns down. You have a big meat processing plant burns down. So, I mean, for now, I can tell you around here, food is in abundance. It's high priced, but we're not,
Yeah, I have noticed when I went back to UK over Christmas that prices really had rocketed from when I was last there. So there's no doubt inflation really did take off. I think inflation's now subsiding, but when you're not been there for a few months and you go back and you see prices, approaching double what they were when I was last there. So
it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, eggs definitely they like tripled. It was nuts. I now buy the eggs in like 60 egg quantities, 60 eggs. My kid's godmother comes over. Oh, 60 eggs. What are you doing? We eat eggs. We'll eat a lot of eggs, and they
got all
don't
those
really go
children to
bad.
feed, haven't you, Bruce?
What's that?
Got all those children to feed.
I mean, I wish I had all those children. I got the 2 children. I would have taken more. I tried.
Oh, I thought you had 3.
Huh?
I thought you had 3.
No, I wish I had 3. We tried a few more times, but it didn't work. You realize as you get older that it's a bit of magic that happens there. And we were a product of our time. Like a lot of people, we got married when we were 30 years old. My wife and I are the same age. So we did the deal. We checked all the boxes. We did all the things. So at 30 years old, we were looking around. She was 29, I guess. But there luckily we had each other because it would have been interesting to try to my plan was always if I didn't find somebody that was perfect, I would just find somebody that was young and dumb and do it that way. But anyway, we ended up running back into each other and we were old high school sweethearts and stuff. So that's how that worked. But a lot of stuff in between, like a lot of people, and if you get married at 30, you don't have much time to have kids.
Just sorry to jump back in again on crypto just for a moment. I did mention the other day about Link being a major, some major potential. We just completed the correction and actually I said specifically the other day, it's running ahead of the other cryptos. And we see today, Link is up 7.6% today alone, and it's racing higher. And it does appear to be leading the way, which gives me great encouragement. Despite my terrible cold, gives me great encouragement for the other cryptos because Link has been leading, within the wave patterns, within the wave camps. It's just leading the way. So absolutely amazing, 7.6% in a day, just today alone.
Well, Link is, there's a lot of, it's kind of like ICP in the way that they really provide, and that's Chainlink for those of you that are interested here. Chainlink is up on the week. I'll share my screen here.
Well, it's 34.79% for the week.
Yes.
It's 38% for the month. It's 50% for 3 months. It's 161% for 6 months. The year is not so good, 30%. But even so, who's going to be complaining at 30%?
Who's going to complain?
Sorry, year to date, that is. That's just the month, 30%. So the whole year is actually 169%. So phenomenal performance all around every time frame you look at.
Yep. And I don't know why. I guess it doesn't update on CoinGecko. I like CoinGecko better. But anyway, 6.7% on the day. Yeah, let me look at that chart. That's the month chart right there. That is the 7-day, 34% there. Yeah, well, the other thing I was saying about Link is that they provide they gave away for a lot of different other cryptos to use them. Using different oracles and stuff like that. And so it was a product that came out that enhanced the way that other cryptos were able to operate. And ICP is one of those as well. ICP, a lot of people are different. Like one of the things that they're doing is providing a way for Bitcoin-based blockchains like Global Boost or Bitcoin, obviously, or Litecoin, to store their NFTs, their ordinal NFTs. Because if you have a block that's not that big, and that's one of the things BSV always likes to talk about, their big blocks. That was one of the changes they made in their code, and BCH actually. They made the block size bigger. But if you have a smaller block size, then you kind of need to hold those ordinal NFTs, the data somewhere, or else they can't be that big. And ICP gives a way for that to happen.
So I told you about ICP, obviously, because I do think it's amazing technically, but I'm going to tell you about another one later this week, a new chain which is going to come out.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing in terms of its energy efficiency. It's way more energy efficient than any of them. It's much quicker, way faster. The potential for transactions per second is orders of magnitude faster than all the rest. It's more secure than all the rest. You don't have to write in a specific coding language. You talk about Rust. I think your Impact protocol is Rust, isn't it?
Yep.
This one isn't language specific. You can write in any language. So it's going to be so much more. Well, I'm going to tell you all about it. I'll do a special session on it because I think it's absolutely amazing. I'll invite you. I'll give you the information. I invite you guys to look into it, and I'd welcome feedback because I think it's going to be very much the future of blockchain. So I look forward to sharing that with you in coming days. And we should do a show about it. Just if you have any experts within your audience, just to take a look and give us some feedback as well. That'd be fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah, that sounds great. We'd love it. We'll be doing a lot of stuff actually as we unroll here. We're going to do some trading courses as well with the Sir Matt Dixon here. I can't wait to do some of that stuff. And we set up as well a good partnership with KuCoin over the week, so we'll be able to get everybody trading on there. And that's one of my favorite exchanges actually. And Americans are able to trade on there and get Bitcoin and crypto at cost or lower if we play our cards right. So I'm really looking forward to all that stuff. I know a lot of our viewers are as well.
Yeah, good.
Awesome.
Just checking on Bitcoin before I leave you. Yep. It's going very nicely. Good. Okay, well, I'll excuse myself if you don't mind because
yes, sir. Have a great day. Take care of yourself. Take some. I know they had some good stuff over there.
I'll be fine, but be fine by tomorrow.
Yeah. Sometimes that sand dust gets to you too. So, cheers. Take care.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Matt. The great Matt Dixon.
Yes.
MD Trade sharing his knowledge. It's really a wealth of knowledge. I can tell you, every decade that goes by, I get smarter. You always go, you get past another decade, and you look back at the last decade, and you go, "Gosh, I was saying that stuff." A lot of stuff I was right on, but still, you're like, "Oh gosh, I was wrong about that."
Yeah, it takes a few decades to come to the right, at least to have a bunch of new realizations.
It takes a few decades to have a bunch of new realizations. That's right, David. I wanted some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about here. First of all, Texas, I wanted to show, of course, the governor of Texas. He is really, he's really doing a great job over here of securing the border. And I wanted to show you this. This post actually got a lot of views here. For look at this. So here we have, and you see the National Guard there on top, and then those people there below are just kind of looking for a weak point. There. Now, interesting because, like, well, let's see what the governor has to say here.
Defense if states face, and we are guaranteed by the United States Constitution the right of self-defense if states face imminent harm or invasion. Texas obviously is facing both an imminent harm as well as an invasion. And so these governors are rallying around Texas to support our ongoing right to self-defense. And the deployment of this razor wire that has led to a massive reduction in inflow. Maria, get this. The area where we have occupied this park in Eagle Pass, Texas, that we put up the razor wire, there used to be 3,000 or 4,000 people crossing that area a day. For the past 3 days, we've averaged just 3 people crossing that area. The point is, if we put up resistance, we show that we can secure the border. Joe Biden should not be stopping that. We are guaranteed by the United States Constitution the right of.
I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
Yeah. I'll play that video.
Does the wall work? I guess the wall works, huh?
Wait, a wall works? What? Well, the crazy part about it, though, is like a few people have brought up. I mean, you know, this is like Eagle Pass. I mean, all the people are doing is walking a mile or two up the way and coming across the border at a different spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
But, you know, it could be. I'm always when I put out a post and it gets like so much traction, I'm always a little bit like, I wonder what the powers that be, you know, I mean, obviously, okay, fine, it's a good post or whatever, but, you know, are the powers that be pushing this one? So you see this one, 1.6, you know, over 1,500 retweets. Pretty interesting. Oh, this is crazy. Taylor Swift. Do you believe Taylor Swift is a
Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift.
Good morning. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
That's on local news.
It is now.
That's too funny.
Right? Well, I mean, that's obviously, you know, the government runs our news, so-called news. Yeah, it was actually kind of on a roll this weekend, I guess. Bill Gates. Do you think this guy is a supervillain? Is he mentally ill, a supervillain? But listen to this guy.
I see the same thing for the agricultural sector. You know, beef. And now I see 2 very amazing approaches. By improving the cow breeding and giving them some other inputs, we can reduce their methane emissions. And this new prioritization of the methane work, I applaud that, because in terms of the near-term temperature increase, methane plays a very big role. The same thing for...
I have a way to reduce the methane. Eat more steak.
Yeah.
Now this poor girl, she just figures out she's talking about taxing.
Just
she doesn't even know.
forget it.
No,
I seriously think about this every to me.
She doesn't even know about the tax from the central bank, the tax levied by diluting the dollar supply and taking the value of the dollar by inflation, by diluting the dollar supply. I'll read that again. She doesn't even know about the tax from the central bank. You may not know about it either unless you watch this and you understand. The tax levied by diluting the dollar supply and taking the value of the dollar by way of inflation.
No, I seriously think about this every single day, and I'm sorry if I sound stupid. if somebody has $500 and they've already paid taxes on it, and they give it to me, so now just because it goes from them to me, I also have to pay taxes on it, even though they just did. And then not only that, but anytime I spend one of those $500, I'm going to also pay another tax fee on whatever item I'm buying. And then whoever I bought the item from will have to pay taxes on the money they just earned from what I bought. So like so every single dollar, like if a dollar is 100 cents, hold on. Just forget it. No, I seriously.
I think people are starting to figure it out, David.
Yeah.
People are starting to figure it out. What you can do. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. There you go. Your money is fake. Your food is fake. Your news is fake. Your medicine is poison. The wars are based on lies. To them, you are cattle. It's true, guys. It is true. Make sure to follow us at Networks Manager. David is at Sir David Porter. Matt Dixon is MD Trade. Let's watch this. This is one of the best rides I've ever seen. Hold on a second. They're just gonna get mad at me for playing this song. YouTube's gonna get mad at me for playing the song. I don't know how to mute it. All right, we're not gonna play that. Anyway, guys, get involved. Okay, there's several ways to get involved. Okay, with what we're doing, and one of them is to get involved in the monetary revolution, because that's what it's all about. They're diluting our money, okay, and they're taking it from you via inflation. That's like the whole scam. That's the biggest scam we got going on. And the central bank is actually running everything. So get involved. Go to @costmetal. It's @costmetals.com is the main site. But @costmetals.club forward you there to our referral link, which is clubs, CLUBS. Sign up. It's free to sign up. Launching, looks like we are launching on Valentine's Day, February 14th. So get involved. Get some. We're not financial advisors, okay? Everything, we're not saying anything's going to go to the moon or anything, but get involved in the monetary revolution. Get some silver, get some gold, get some palladium, some platinum. Give yourself a hedge over what's going on, okay? So that's @costmetals.club. Go to Global Boost. That's Global Boost with the dot between the O and the ST. So Global Boost is a .st domain. Go there. You'll be able to follow the links. Go to the exchanges. You can get different. You can get crypto there. Okay. You can get some Global Boost, some BSTY coins, Boosty coins as we call them, and those are completely proof of work coins, just like Bitcoin, just like Litecoin. Except Bitcoin and Litecoin are the price is way up here. It can fluctuate a lot more. Well, everything can fluctuate, but from where we're at, I feel like very undervalued, but it's not financial advice. But check that out. Get involved. Okay. We've gone to $1, $2 multiple times. I think we're at like 3 cents or something like that. So do with that what you want. But we love doing the show, guys. We'll be back on in 5 hours on your TV in Texas and Louisiana, and of course, broadcasting live around the world. Sir David, thanks, sir.
Yes.
Signing off.
Thank you, Bruce. See you soon.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.